Good evening. I'm Jacob Doherty. You know, just like any truly great news source, we make mistakes here at Next Week Now. So I'll be here every week to make corrections on our predictions from last episode, as well as fill you in on the things we missed. We'll be keeping a score of our accuracy, so grab your calculators if you want to follow along at home. Last episode, we predicted that a strange man, who may or may not be former President Barack Obama, would attempt to break into the White House to deliver a message of warning to the people. However, quite the opposite is true, as Obama appears to have taken on the role of recently divorced father to the country, spending his time on relaxing vacations, only sending the American people a small trinket every once in a while, just to let us know that he still thinks of us. This would be upsetting, but I think that Papa Barry has earned a vacation, so we'll just give ourselves 500 points, because it's what he would want us to do. This week, the Coachella Music Festival filed suit against Urban Outfitters, the popular clothing store, in what is being described as the whitest lawsuit of all time. Coachella accuses Urban Outfitters of selling clothing with Coachella branding on it, because there's only room for one at the top of the overpriced garbage clothing pyramid. Eric and Laura Trump made the announcement this week that they would be having their first child, a baby boy. Interestingly enough, this announcement came on the same day that 101-year-old billionaire David Rockefeller passed away. According to a source that was present at the time of his death, Rockefeller's last words were, "Like the phoenix of the ancient gods, I go to be reborn and cleanse the world in the flame of my second coming." Old people say the cutest things. Last episode, we predicted that FBI Director James Comey would get embroiled in all sorts of hijinks at the South by Southwest Music and Film Festival following his scheduled speech. However, Comey pulled out of the festival, canceling his speech and any possibility of a comedic series of misadventures with the FBI. I'm sure that the festival saw a huge drop in ticket sales after this because everyone really only wanted to go to see Comey. In fact, many people were spotted at the festival wearing crudely made "I Come for Comey" t-shirts in protest. For this lapse in prediction accuracy, I have no choice but to remove 500 points from our score. George Clooney recently made a surprise visit to one of his fans for her 87th birthday. According to one of the staff members of the assisted living facility, Pat Adams, the fan, loves George Clooney and mentions every day how she would love him to meet her. However, Pat later said that she was a little disappointed that Clooney had not arrived in his Batman costume, stating that the last thing she wanted before the end was to flick his little rubber nipples. Truly an inspiring story. A man known as the Lego Bandit was found guilty in Illinois this week for stealing over $2 million worth of Lego sets from Toys R Us. Although he was caught in his car, when police searched his home, they found a minefield of bricks placed on the ground throughout, in what one officer described as a bizarre mingling of the Home Alone and Saw franchises. 2 officers at the scene received critical foot injuries from the deadly, deadly toys. I would also like to point out that although we made a different prediction, the words Toys R Us were actually spoken in our last episode, which is closer than we usually get to accurate predictions. I say that warrants us another 500 points. Rock and roll legend Chuck Berry passed away last week at the age of 90. Finally, there's no one in the way to stop Back to the Future from claiming that Johnny Be Good was written by an annoying white teenager. In a tweet this week, Miley Cyrus showed off her tattoo dedicated to her father, country singer Billy Ray Cyrus. The pop star had the word "Dad" tattooed along the side of her foot in a display of love. I actually also have a tattoo dedicated to country singer Billy Ray Cyrus, but I don't think the FCC would like me to tell you where. In the most unabashedly heartwarming story to come out this week, an 8-year-old boy living with a skin condition known as vitiligo that causes white spots to appear on his skin has found a new best friend in a Labrador retriever named Rowdy that has the same condition. Now all I need is to find a dog that also has genital herpes. On a side note, thanks to our technical producer, Emily DeCita. Well, that's going to do it for me. We are ending tonight's segment with a modest 500 points. But, as you all know, daylight savings was last week, so all points must be adjusted forward 1,500 points, for a grand total of 2,000. I'll see you again next week But until then, you've been filled in on what we missed.